With the summer rolling around and the draft coming up, it's time for my third annual installment of the best prospects in hockey. For the purposes of this video, I'm defining a prospect as a player who is still rookie eligible, as determined by eligibility for the Calder Trophy, so the likes of Troy Terry and Henrik Borgstrom, for example, have graduated from this list. Before we start, this video is brought to you by Anderson Prints. Whether it's for your bedroom or college dorm, these high-quality canvas prints are perfect for any sports fan. With hundreds of unique combinations of sizes, sports, and even custom orders, these canvases are the best way to add some life to your walls. Purchase on Etsy with the link in my bio and use code REEPS for 10% off your order. Number 15, Evan Bouchard. After being taken 10th overall by Edmonton Oilers last June, the 6'2" defenseman made the opening night roster but played in only 7 games, scoring 1 goal and going -5 before being sent back to the London Knights of the OHL. From there, the offensive defenseman went on to score 16 goals and 37 assists for 53 points across 45 games, a slightly disappointing total compared to his draft year, but still nothing to worry about. He went on to dominate in the OHL playoffs, scoring 21 points in 11 games for the Knights before being eliminated. Then he joined Edmonton's AHL affiliate Bakersfield for their playoff run, where he currently has 5 points in 5 games in their bout for the title. Although he had a much improved season, I think Edmonton still needs to take it slow with him, and he needs one more season minimum away from the NHL. 14, Jordan Kyrou. Last year's number 10 ranked prospect, I thought Kyrou was going to have a strong rookie season in the NHL this year, but he clearly wasn't ready for the big league yet. He made the Blues out of training camp, however he scored just 1 goal and 2 assists in the first 16 games of the year, so he was sent down to AHL San Antonio, where he began to take over and find his offensive touch, scoring 43 points in 47 games. As a 21-year-old, I still think Kyrou will be ready for a top 9 role next season and should be competitive offensively. 13, Eeli Tolvanen. Last year's number 2 ranked prospect has had quite the fall from grace over the last 2 years. After a 2017-2018 season that encompassed the entire hockey world, Tolvanen came over to North America for the full 2018-19 season and kind of disappointed his lofty expectations. He scored just 15 goals and 20 assists for 35 points in 58 games for the Milwaukee Admirals of the AHL before going pointless in their 5-game playoff run. Despite this, Tolvanen showed some promise in his 4-game NHL call-up in December, where he recorded a goal and an assist. Although he's fallen from his number 2 prospect ranking, I still think Tolvanen has a lot of potential for the future and should still be viewed as a great developing prospect. Number 12, Noah Dobson. The 12th overall pick by the New York Islanders continued his great path of development this past season. He started the year on a terrible Acadie-Bathurst team before being traded to the top contending Noranda Huskies, where he put his offensive and defensive skills on display with his 36-point output in 28 games. He also took over in the playoff run with a 27-point showing in their 18-game stint. He was named to the QMJHL first All-Star team and continues to look like one of the top 2A smooth-skating defensive prospects. Number 11, Erik Brannstrom. The 15th overall draft pick by Vegas in 2017 was traded to the Ottawa Senators as the main piece of the Mark Stone trade. He started the year with Vegas' AHL team in Chicago, where he did not disappoint as a 19-year-old, scoring 28 points in 41 games with a +1 rating. He also captained Team Sweden at the World Juniors, scoring 4 goals in 5 games and being named to the All-Tournament team. Following his trade to Ottawa, he may have fallen victim to the shit show as he struggled to adjust with just 4 assists in 9 games before being called up for a 2-game end-of-the-year stint with the Senators. He's a top skater with excellent hockey vision, so I would not be surprised if he steps right into the Senators lineup next season. 10. Adam Boqvist. Last summer's 8th overall pick by the Chicago Blackhawks had a great adjustment season in his first year in North America. Transitioning from the Swedish Pro League to the London Knights was a blessing for him, as he was able to retain his professional salary and the under-the-table payments from the Knights while playing junior hockey. Advertised as a dynamic offensive defenseman, he flashed his skill and potential while adjusting to the tighter confines of North American ice, with his 60-point output in 54 games, as well as an impressive 10-goal, 3-assist performance in 11 OHL playoff games. He's still a couple years away from the NHL, but expect him to consistently rise on these rankings over the coming years as he develops into an elite puck-moving defenseman. Number 9, Barret Heaton. A bit of a surprising pick at number 5 last June, the Arizona Coyotes must be happy as Heaton met the lofty expectations placed on him this season. He captained the Sault Ste. Marie Greyhounds this season while scoring 26 goals and 40 assists for 66 points in just 39 games. In the playoffs, he led the way with 16 points in 11 games before the run was cut short. He was decent for Canada at the World Juniors, scoring 4 assists in 5 tournament games, but definitely could have been better. As a 6'1" center, he plays a complete 200-foot game and is on track to make an impact for the Coyotes, most likely in the 2020-21 season. Number 8, Denis Denisenko. Last summer's 15th overall pick by the Florida Panthers had a typical season for a young Russian prospect, as he bounced around from the KHL to the VHL to the MHL. Playing in the KHL at all as an 18-year-old is a remarkable accomplishment. Player development isn't really at the forefront over there. However, Denisenko was still able to play in 25 games for Lokomotiv Yaroslavl, scoring 4 goals and 2 assists for 6 points. Although this seems disappointing, the KHL is an extremely challenging league for a young player to break into, let alone get significant ice time and points. Against his own age group, Denisenko dominated, as the shifty 5'11" winger led the World Juniors in points with 5 goals and 4 assists in 7 games. He'll spend at least one more year in Russia before coming over to North America, but he's expected to take on a bigger role over there next season. Number 7. Kirill Kaprizov. A mainstay on this list, Kaprizov has yet to come over to North America since being drafted 135th overall in 2015 by Minnesota. This season he finished 11th in KHL scoring with 30 goals and 21 assists in 57 games. Consistent communication between Minnesota and him continues to provide hope that he will come over soon. However, his contract with CSKA Moscow lasts until 2020-21. Currently 22 years old, he is the only shining light in a rather dull prospect pool for the Wild, but when he eventually comes over, he will be immediately placed into the top 6, but until then you'll continue to see him on my rankings. Number 6. Vitaly Kravstov. After last-minute rise up the prospect rankings last summer, the Rangers took Kravstov at 8th overall. This season he spent the entire year in the KHL, something incredibly rare for a 19-year-old, and continued to impress with 21 points in 50 games for Traktor Chelyabinsk, and was linked to the KHL All-Star team. In the World Juniors he didn't dominate as some anticipated, but still impressed amongst his peers, scoring 6 points in 7 games for Russia. The Rangers are expecting he will come over to North America next season to play in the AHL, where they can keep better eyes on his development and add him to their quickly expanding young core of the future. Number 5. Filip Zadina. The Detroit Red Wings happily snatched up the top-ranking prospect at 6 overall last June, and he did not disappoint this season. As a 19-year-old AHL rookie, Zadina put up 35 points in 57 games before his 9-game, 3-point stint with the Red Wings at the end of the season. I think Zadina is 50-50 for making the big club next season. The Red Wings are notorious for being patient with development, and he may not be an exception, so for now expect to see him back in Grand Rapids next season for further development. Number 4. Martin Necas. Last year's number 8 prospect sees a big upgrade in this year's rankings as he completed his first full season in North America. Last year he was loaned back to the Czech Pro League after playing in 1 NHL game. This year he once again made the team out of camp, but recorded just 1 goal and 1 assist across his first 7 games, so he was sent down to the AHL's Charlotte Checkers in order to keep better tabs on his development, as well as further transition him to the smaller ice surface. As a 3-year pro, being just 20 years old, Necas did not look out of place at all, as he torched the league for 52 points in 64 games. Although he needs more development on the defensive side of the puck, expect him to challenge for a top 6 role on the Hurricanes next season. Number 3. Cody Glass. Despite some injury issues, the first draft selection in team history continues to look like the center for the future in Vegas. In 38 WHL games, Glass dominated with 15 goals and 54 assists for a nice total of 69 points in 38 games, and was often called too good for the league. He was consistent for Canada at the World Juniors, scoring 6 points in 5 games for them, but failing to medal. At the conclusion of his WHL season, he joined Vegas' AHL affiliate Chicago for the end of the regular season and playoff run, where he was near a point per game with 5 points in the final 6 games of the season. So far in their playoff run, Glass doesn't look out of place with 5 points in 9 games for the Wolves. The 6'2" playmaker is a great skater, highly skilled, and will be in Vegas' top 9 at the start of next season. Number 2. Quinn Hughes. After being taken 7th overall last summer by the Canucks, the electric defenseman is beginning to make teams regret their selections. He was elite on all levels this season, scoring above a point per game at the University of Michigan before turning pro and recording 3 assists in his first 5 NHL games. His speed and hockey sense is outstanding, and his quick feet separates him from most blue liners in the league. He will play around 20 minutes per game next season with a top 4 role in Vancouver and will challenge for the Calder Trophy. Number 1. Kale Makar. The nearly unanimous number 1 prospect in hockey, Kale Makar has continued to prove every doubter wrong. He was my 7th ranked prospect a year ago, but his trajectory has slingshotted him up my rankings. He returned to the NCAA as captain at UMass Amherst this season and immediately looked out of place. He made a mockery of college hockey, scoring 49 points in 41 games and leading the Minutemen to the national championship game. Within 24 hours of their loss, he was headed to the NHL playoffs for the Avalanche, where the quick, smooth-skating defenseman was a stud on the back end with 1 goal and 5 assists in his first 10 NHL games. Despite being a D-man, he's my favorite to win the Calder next season and looks to be the next great offensive defenseman. So who do you think deserved to make this list? Let me know in the comments down below what you think and who I should keep an eye on for next year's rankings. Leave your top 15 in the comments down below, as well as any future video ideas you'd like to see, and I'll see you guys next time.